Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you are standing on the edge of a rooftop. You want to step back, but your legs move forward. You try to scream for help, but your throat just tightens. You are awake, you are conscious, but you are no longer in control. Today, we are breaking down a scene from the 2026 thriller Cold Storage. It's not just a movie, it's a biological nightmare about an ancient fungus that escapes a military base. But here is the real question. Could this actually happen in real life? Let's find out. Before we get into the details of the budget, do me a favor. Hit that Mentebit subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss an update.
Stories don't hit us because of what happens. They hit us because of why it happens. Here, we break movies, series, and dramas the way your brain actually experiences them. The psychology, the trauma, the hidden choices nobody talks about. If you love stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, you're in the right place. We're Mentebit, and this is where stories get inside your head.
The scene starts in the bowels of a military facility. Our leads, including Dr. Martens, find a containment tank. Don't touch the tank, he warns. It's big, it's fast, and it's heterotrophic. For those who don't know, heterotrophic means it must consume other organic life to survive. It doesn't make its own food, it eats you from the inside out. But then they find the body. The skull is split. All 8 seam lines, the natural cracks in our head, have been forced open by internal pressure. Guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does the idea of a brain-controlling parasite freak you out? Let me know in the comments right now. Now this is where the psychology gets dark. Dr. Martens explains why the victims climb to the roofs. The fungus takes over the brain's motor functions. It forces the host to reach the highest point possible. Why? Because once the body cavity is full, the fungus bursts. It uses the height to spread its spores through the wind, infecting thousands of people in seconds. It's not just killing, it's farming humanity. We see the character, Hero. She's paralyzed. I can't move my legs, she says. The realization hits. She is infected. The military solution: burn the entire place to the ground with white phosphorus. If you're enjoying this deep dive into movie psychology, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this. As the scene ends, we are left with a chilling thought. We think we are the masters of our own minds, but in the face of an ancient, evolved species, we might just be storage. If you were in Dr. Martens' shoes, would you have the heart to burn your friend alive to save the world? Or would you try to find a cure? I'll be reading every single comment. Thanks for watching, and stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe Mentebit.